What's up, guys and gals? I'm your host, Mike P of the FPC Virtual Channel, and you're tuning in to a really wild, out of control looking dude. Nah, I'm just playing. This is actually Blender 2.80 beta. This is a series that I'm running on beta, and I'm just playing around with it. Blender is really amazing, and what I'm gonna try to pull off in this video is an actual Rigify, full Rigify rig. I was testing it out. I did create a previous video to this one, and I was able to come up with some really cool stuff without even going into the full Rigify setup. So just to show y'all folks, I can do some stuff that you can see, and it's moving the legs, it's moving the head, and it's moving it out of place from its positioning with the other parts of the body. But I do have it working to some degree, even without fitting the whole entire rig into it. So if y'all folks want to learn how to do this and just play around with it, it's more of a play around experimental video. It's not really a how-to. Y'all folks can follow it and probably learn from this, even though it's not a how-to video 100%. It is going to be somewhat educational because it will show y'all folks everything that I have entailed to be able to pull it off. So as you can see, I'm moving the hands, and it's moving the arms, or not arms but the hands itself, and it's not moving the full rig of all of the actual body parts for the vertices, not getting everything moving. So I have a solution, and I'm going to try to test it out first to see if that works, and then I'm going to try to fit the whole entire body. So I like to phase things in and out slowly but surely, so I can test it and to see what will cause what kind of effect. So y'all folks also going to learn how to fix your Rigify rig if you're using any version of Blender through this version of Blender 2.80 beta. If you failed at rigging through Rigify, you're going to learn that as well. Not as a how-to, like I said, because I'm not the best at it, but I do know how to try to figure out and troubleshoot. I like playing around. I am a technician actually in real life, more of an electronic technician. I had about 10 years solid of electronics technician work in the Navy, and then eventually I became a computer technician, transitioning out, trying to get into the the regular civilian sector. And I did not actually go for a job. Instead, I decided to create my own business. So that's where FPC Virtual comes from, and it started out like that. I wanted to do computer repair, so I'm more of that type of tech savvy guy. I'm not really graphics design tech savvy that much, or even YouTube video tech savvy. I'm not that great at YouTube videos. I'm really not great at anything in general, but I'm average at most stuff. But I can help y'all folks from that side of the fence of learning how things work. Now I did lie. I am great at files and understanding file exchanges and doing Blender add-ons and stuff like that, but all that file side end of it is not really the complicated part. The complicated part is getting into the intricate aspects and elements of rigging, and pretty much trying to learn every little aspect and how the rigging tools that are provided to you, how they work. So if you want to learn that stuff, tune in. Let's get it. So I'm going to start over. As you can see, it looks all purple and cool and whatever. This is one of my guys, my characters that I created using Mixamo Fuse off of the Steam engine, and I call him the Falk. The Falk. Instead of the Hulk, he's the Falk. So let's go to General, and that will allow me to restart it. And this is how my Blender viewport starts out with the camera that I changed. It was an actual cube starting out just like the regular cube that most people see by default. I moved the camera to this position over here. It was defaulted up here in the upper left area, towards between the lower left of the y-axis and x-axis in the upper area up here. So you can move your stuff around in your viewport. I highly recommend for you to do that if you want things to start out a certain way. You can go to File and then go to Start or Save Startup File to save it in a particular status or status of condition. So wherever you have all your Blender settings at, it will previously reset it back to that previous session. So you go Save Startup File and it will save it, and that's where it will start. No matter where you're at, even if you're in the rendering position, if you're here at render, it will start at render. I'll give you an example. Save Startup File, save it, hit the X, go out, and then I'll start Blender over again, and you'll see It's going to start at that same exact position. So keep that in mind whenever you're saving to the start file. That's a little tip for y'all folks who haven't used Blender ever before. Maybe you want to, restart Blender every single time at a good position that you left off at, so you can actually build that project upon how you see fit. You can also save differing versions of your projects, so that's what I recommend as well. Most definitely for Blender 2.80, you want to save every iteration that you can after maybe every 5 minutes, maybe every 10 minutes or something, or every half an hour. But since Blender 2.80 beta is not that stable, it may crash in between every little thing you do. So you want to most definitely save at intervals of time. So you'll see it's going to come up. It's now trying to calculate and do whatever it does. I don't know what it's going to do. After this, I'm going to show y'all folks how to jump straight into the Rigify rig setup. And as you see, it starts up like this. Now I don't get the left click, right click enabled screen. For some reason I never got that to come up, but if you don't get any of that stuff, you go to File and you, I believe, no, not File, you go to Edit, go to your Preferences, and then you can set your left click, right click enable how you see fit. So you go to Input, and then you can change it over here where it used to be. Alright, it's up here. Left, right. So you want it to set at left click if that's what you prefer. That gives you the ability to control the mouse and mouse controls with the left click. And the right click will be defaulted out of it. So it will be for other things that you want to do. So in order to get back from this rendered side, all I got to do is go to Layout, and it should still give me what I had previously. So now what I want to do is go to File, Save Starter File, and make sure I save it here because that's what I wanted in the first place. So that was just the proofing for y'all folks to see how to save a start file. Remember what condition you left it at, and then you'll get it every time to that condition. No matter what menu you change, you can change all the menus. If you want to change menus, you can play around and adjust and modify things how you see fit, customize things how you see fit. You can even re-customize the whole Blender UI. So I just wanted to get that out of the way real quick for those who are trying to get into Blender and learn how to use it, stuff like that. It's really customizable, it's fun. So what we're going to do is jump into the Rigify rig phase. So what I'm going to do is delete everything. I don't really need anything in here. If I don't want it right now, I'll just do Shift A just to show you folks I can get rid of it and bring it back if I want to. So actually let me hide everything. So let's hit the H key just to hide it so we don't have to delete it. Now in this collection area we have a ton of things set up here. Say we wanted to add a collection, we're going to go Control M, I think, or the M key, and let's add a new collection. What are collections is basically groupings of your 3D assets. We're going to name it here, we're going to call it the Folk, and we'll hit OK, and it's going to bring it in there as a collection. So now we'll move to this collection and we'll start building that particular one. So now what we want to do, we want to bring in my 3D asset. We go to File, go to Import, and we're going to bring in object file. So if you have an external 3D object, you can go to some other 3D object character creator, character generator like Adobe Fuse, Mixamo Fuse from the Steam engine if you're using it from that one. Steam Engine's Mixamo Fuse is free. Adobe's version, if you're Adobe Creative Cloud member, you got to pay for Adobe obviously, but you get the Adobe Fuse version for free if you got the cloud membership. So it's not really free 100%, but you have to be an Adobe Creative Cloud member in order to gain access to it. The benefits is that when you go to the Mixamo website, which provides you FBX files and all kinds of different files that you can animate, you can go on there and you can make things work for you to bypass having to get your own rig. But this is a way for you to get your own rig. So you can use Rigify to get that. So we're going to go in, get a character that I generated, and actually I should have stayed where I was at. So Fuse model, the Folk. Let's look for the Folk right here. So we're going to go in and we're going to pull up his object file. Make sure you have your MTL file and you have all the other assets built in for that particular character build. So make sure everything is built in. All of that comes from your third-party tool or wherever you got the 3D asset for that character built. And make sure it's a humanoid, so it's shaped in the shape of a human, has eyes, legs, feet, mouth, you know, arms, etc. And it's standing tall, so you can do like a T-pose and all that stuff. If you want to set it up in a T-pose, actually it's preferred to have a T-pose for the Rigify rig. So we're going to go import. All this stuff is going to be defaulted fine. It's not a bad thing. And this character came in like this. He looks pretty weird because his boots came out kind of weird. I don't know why his boots came out like that. I'm not going to worry about his boots, but he did come out a little bit better in my previous session. I did change the boots to some degree. He looks funny. Yo, that's funny. So here goes the character. He came in. I'm not worried about all of that extra stuff. He came in as a large scale size. We're going to downsize him just a little bit. So let's do select all and downsize him just a little bit. Now, one thing I want to recommend is for folks who are trying to use Rigify is to take all of the character layers in that actual 3D collection that you created. So these are all my different layered parts, individual parts. I can hide each one if I want, and you'll see the individual layers. You want to connect them together. So I recommend for you to connect them and tie them together to the body part, to the main body. So like you'll take the eyes and then select the body and then go join. So hit the J key. If the J key doesn't work, you go to object and then you look for join. So where it says join right here, they will join together, and you'll see in the outliner over here, it's going to jump into that body. So we're going to go to object, go to join, and you see it jumped into the body. So now we'll put the brute eyes in there and go to object and go to join. The reason why you want to join these together, and we did a little issue. So we're going to go Control Z to back it out, and we're going to select the eyes first, then go to the body, and then go to join. The reason why you want to do this is because when it's time for you to do the Rigify rig, the body parts are not going to be all connected. It's not going to work properly. So this didn't work. I don't know why that didn't work, but let's try it again. And I did an error there. Control Z. Control Z. Back that out. Control Z. Okay, we backed out. Control Z. So select the brute eyes, select the body, object, join. There we go. Now it worked. Here, select the hair, then select the body, object, join. So on and so forth. So we want the bottoms and shoes and tops. So we do the body, object, join, and we'll do bottoms first, and body, object, join. That's if your 3D objects are layered, if you have multiple 3D objects. Now we all one object. This is one 3D object. Now I should be ready for the Rigify. Now keep in mind, when you bring in the Rigify, it's going to be a tiny small rig. So if you want that Rigify to be set up properly, make sure after you bring in the Rigify rig to go up to edit mode. Switch from object mode to edit mode. And I'm not talking about the mesh. This is a base mesh for your 3D object, one solid object known as the body. If you go into the body, you could probably find the other parts, but it doesn't show that the parts are showing, so they're all tied together. They're all linked as one. So that's exactly what you need. Trust me, if you don't do that, it's going to fall apart when you're trying to do what is known as automatic weights. So when you're trying to basically parent the actual internal bones that you're going to need to the mesh, when you're trying to parent it together with as automatic weights, it will fall apart and you won't be able to get the right connections. So with that being said, let's go into how to get the Rigify in. So you're going to go Shift A, but make sure you deselect everything and you do Shift A. Now we're going to do we're going to add, basically. So Shift A means to add. So you can also use this add option up here. Go to armature and then go to human meta rig. That's all you're going to do is add in a human meta rig, and what it's going to do, excuse me, what it's going to do is it's going to place it in the 000 position where you have your 3D cursor. So make sure your 3D cursor is in the dead center 000 position. If you don't get that, you're not going to get the right scale, working out, and or positional notation for your armature to fit the character's fitting, because the character comes into the 000 position when it first starts out. So your 3D object will always start, whatever imported 3D object that you try to put into Blender will come in the 000 position based on the XYZ coordinate plane of the Blender viewport. So those are key things. If you don't have your 3D cursor in there, let's move the 3D cursor anywhere else. If you don't have it in there, it's going to be really bad. So to fix that, you do Shift S, or also go to select, which means it's short for going to the select option, and do cursor to world origin. When you do that, it's going to be in a dead center if your 3D cursor was somewhere else, because we don't know, I don't know where your object is or where you decided to put your objects at and where you decide to move things at. You want to start everything in a 000 position basically. So Shift A, go to armature, human meta rig. Now we got the meta rig started. Now look, if you look in the very dead center 000 position, look at this guy. This guy is super duper tiny in retrospect to your folk character. So you can click your folk character if you want, it's fine. Actually, you can't click it now if you're in the cursor option, so we will put that cursor back to the position that it was at. So Shift S and go to cursor to world origin. What we're going to do now is make sure we get out of select box mode and out of cursor mode by using the the W key multiple times, and go to select. Make sure you're in the select mode. So in that select mode, now you could just single click the character and scale it down even further, so it's not that hard for you to scale up. So now your armature is still waiting for you to edit it. So there goes your armature there. Let's bring them down even more in scale to maybe about there. Something that's reasonable. Let's bring up the actual camera and see where the camera's at. The camera's right there. Look at his legs. So you want to bring him down to scale a little bit more, because your camera size is actually referencing a pretty decent sizing of the human in respect to the camera, because you don't want to have to resize the camera obviously. So let's bring down the size. Bam. So now he's about that size in reference to him, to the rig. So all of that is just basically giving you references to get your actual scale down to a good sizable area or space in your 3D viewport. It's not really going to do much unless you edit your bones. So you go into your rig. This is also known as the meta rig, and now what you want to do is go to edit mode. If you do not go directly to edit mode after selecting him, you will not get the right results. So go to edit mode first, and I would like to iterate this stuff over and over again. Go to edit mode first before you go and scale that meta rig up or down, whatever size you want to scale it to. Go to edit mode first to do it. Don't scale it in object mode, or else it will not work the way you want it in terms of getting it to resize once you go to try to get it to generate the full rig that you need. So now what we're going to do, we're going to scale this up. After going to edit mode gives you the ability to edit the bones basically. So you got to edit the bones out first in order to get the actual rig that you're going to get off of it, which is a very highly advanced rig that will be the end product from Rigify. So the meta rig needs to be scaled now. Hit the S key. That allows you to scale it up. Now this is a key position too, where you don't want to move the mouse out of position after scaling. So you left click your left click mouse button one single time. If you right click, it's going to return it back to the position of 000. So you scale, hit the S key, slide your mouse into a position where you think it's scaled at right properly, And now what you're going to do is left click a single time. When you left click that single time, you're going to hit the G key after that and then click the Z key. So G for move, Z for the Z axis, and now you can slide it up into a respective position where it can fit that character from the head down to the toes and the back of the actual heel. And left click once you get in a good position where you think it's sized properly. After you left click that left click mouse button, now you can move your mouse scroll wheel around and zoom out and in and all that. You can play around, but not before. Make sure you left click to initiate that you completed that move. Now you can use your shift key and you can use your mouse scroll wheel and pull up, and that allows you to pan up. And now you can rotate around, pull back, rotate around, pull back, rotate around, pull back, and you can look at the side view. If you didn't want to do that, you can also use your view option and then change viewport sides. So you can go to top, bottom, front, back, right, left. You can do it that way as well. You could also use hotkeys that you can memorize if you want to memorize. Control number pad 3, whatever. Control number pad 3, control number pad 1, etc. But I'm not into doing all of that stuff. I like to do it manually, but sometimes I can play with that every now and then. Now, why did I get to this side? Well, what you want to do is you want to play with some of your shading sometimes, so you can hop back and forth in between wireframe mode, and from there you can see through the actual object, and you can carefully position it so that everything is within a good respective sizing and position. This is really important for Rigify because if you do it properly, you will get the right adjustment for parenting. So it will parent your character into a good position based on the bone structures and the positioning. So at this point in time, now you want to start to get your bones to fit into the actual body, to fit into approximate locations where you believe it's centered at every particular location. So left foot, right foot, you actually have to fit it into the hip, fit every little body part in to the body for the meta rig. So now let's zoom in to the head real quick. I'm going to zoom into the head. It's little tricks to zoom in, but that's what I'm doing right now. I'll try to help y'all folks in another video to learn the tricks to moving and navigating towards the head so you can get closer and closer without getting stuck. So I'll help y'all folks in the future to do that. But for now, is basically you can try to figure it out. So now we're going to hop back and forth in between the differing shading or shaders, and you'll be able to see what the reference is between where is what. So with the meta rig, how close it is to the head. We can go back to the wireframe and back and forth to solid, back and forth through the differing shaders. You can also make this invisible, transparent, by using this option right here to turn your actual 3D object into a transparency, and you can see through it. You can also go to X-ray mode when you're on the bones. Let's see, you pull this, let's see, down, up. Should give you the ability, you go to display, and then let's see, should give me the ability to see through it. If you cannot do that, let's go to object mode. Let's see, should see it over here in the rig option. I don't see it there, but you should be able to do it in this display. You can also change the shape of the bones if you wanted to, but I would leave it at octahedral. I believe that's what it is. Yeah, octahedral. So usually you would have an X-ray over here. Let me check in the previous version of Blender 2.72 to see if that is visible there. Yeah. So in 2.72 they have X-ray ability. So you can see the bone straight through it. And if you activate the x-ray, you can be able to put the bones back in. And that would be important to have here. So let's try in front. I guess in front is the x-ray kind of concept. So now I can see the bones and rotate them, and bring them back into view to the front view. So there you go. Now we can see all the way through and get rid of the transparency. So why I wanted it to be on the side is because I want to see the front of the face and where it kind of meets up with the head. Also, you want to see the top of the head. So we'll do the top of the head first. Let's move it down. This video is going to be a little bit long, but it's worth it in the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move it up a little bit. So I'm going to go G in the Z direction and slightly move it up like that. And then I'm going to scale it so I can resize the head so it fits to the top of the head and the bottom of the feet will fit properly. So now we're going to do scale again and just do it a little bit, then do G and the Z and bring it down. Now I think the top of the head fits and the bottom of the feet will fit. Well, it's a little bit too big, so let's scale it back the other direction. Just a little bit. Scale it back up. You just got to play with it until you can get it in the right position. G, Z, and that looks good, and that looks good. Okay, so now let's just do the view, try to change views. So wish I knew how to do this quick. Let's go to right side view, go in. There we go. So now what we want to do is, yikes, that was an error. We'll do view, right side. So what I want to do here is try to position things with respect to the proper positioning. So we're going to do move. We can use the move option as well. Oh, come on. View, viewpoint, right side, number pad 3. So that's number pad 3. If I screw up again, I'll do number pad 3. So I'm going to pull this up a little bit so I can get the base pretty much touching here. And to get the bone to fit into the foot, we'll have to play with that. So we're going to select just this particular bone. Actually, we were doing it wrong. Let's do Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Just keep going, Control Z, because I did it all wrong. I should have been in edit mode that whole time. I don't know why it switched out of edit mode. Okay, there. At that point, we switched out of edit mode. Okay. So let's go back. We're going to look for that bone, click in front, and I don't know how it hopped out of edit mode. That was some crap. I guess I selected the body by mistake. So make sure you stick it within that mode. So we're going to do number pad 3, zoom in. If you don't stay in edit mode, you're going to really screw up your build for your armature. So we're going to do G in the Z, right click, that was a little messed up, Control Z, back up one, and we do every little thing matters, so everything's going to affect your actual rig. So we're going to do G in the Z, and then we're going to slide it up. That's just a faster way to do it. Now when we're in edit mode, we select the individual bone and we can move that bone. So we're going to do G in the Y and we're going to move that bone that way. Now let's back it up and we're going to rotate and select both bones. So we do shift select, and now we got both bones selected. Now we're going to do number pad 3 and come back in, and now we can move that bone. So G and the Z, I mean in the Y. Now moving that may not be necessarily great because actually it's in a good position. So right click and we're going to use the other bones. So actually we'll use the transparency to go through, select that one, and it should select both. And now we're going to do G and the Z, or G and the Y, and pull them this way. Wow, it didn't work. So let's see why it's not working. Should have went through. Either way, it's fine. We'll do G and the Y. We don't need to go too crazy about it. And just select the individual points and pull those forward. So G and the Y, like that. So as long as the leg or the feet have a good position in reference to the knees and the ankle connections, this should be fine. You have to have a knee bend over here and an ankle bend for the rig to work properly. So you don't want to break this plane. You don't want to change that too much. So let's rotate it over here. And to get this to work properly and effectively, I believe you have to use the X mirror, but I haven't had luck with the X mirror. So what I'm going to do is use the C key, just select all of these and see if I can get the X mirror to work. So the X mirror is in this area here, this active tool and workspace settings. So you click the X mirror, and I haven't got it to really work the way I wanted it, but actually we'll select, I think we could rotate on this axis here. Let's try to rotate in the X direction. And that's not correct. So rotate in the Y direction. Oh, okay, the X mirror is working. There we go. So I have to select this one and then use the Shift S key on the keyboard, send the selection, or send the cursor to selection. So cursor to active or cursor to selected. That's what you need. When you do that, what I'm trying to pull off is a pivot capability. So we leave that there. Then we do Shift select, and then each consecutive one you want to get selected like that. Alright, now that you got all of those selected, we're going to go to, I learned this from some YouTube videos, you're going to go to 3D cursor up here, this little icon, select 3D cursor, and now you should be able to pivot and rotate on that axis. So R in the X direction, actually no, R in the Y direction, R in the Z direction, R in the X direction. Okay, so R in the Y. There we go. Now it's working. For some reason it wasn't working the first time, but now what it's doing is pivoting around that 3D cursor. So now we'll left click right at that point, and it should give me a centered position. As you can see, it's centering around there. So we can do it again, R in the Y, and then try to get it narrowed down to the best that we can get it, and that should work out right there. Now I did watch a video where this guy, he was able to pull up some option that did a really good volume type of setup where it allows you to edit the bones based on the volume of the actual approximate volume of the center location for each of the 3D objects. So I'm going to go and check that video out, and I'll be right back. I believe that's going to help me to center every proportional area of the actual bone structure so I can get it, you know, leveled where I want things at. Like a good example would be from the left to the right of the side view. I want the bone to lay in the center, dead center. So to get it to move accurately without affecting everything and causing issues, I most definitely want it to be centered and not to mess up the bone angles and stuff like that. So I'm gonna have to think of doing it in a smart way. So actually I can start it out by selecting these and then selecting everything above it. So see, all this stuff takes some knowledge of rigging, obviously. So I learned a lot about Rigify. I didn't pull off a full Rigify rig yet, but I believe Blender 2.80 is going to help me to do it because it's working a lot better than what I saw the previous versions of Blender work for some reason. So it's pretty powerful. So everything above that I'm going to select. So hit the C key. The reason why I'm selecting everything above it is because I want everything to move in unison with that particular motion to center it. So this will actually stay stagnant, but everything else will move. So, and I want it to pivot on this center this center point. So in order to pull that off, actually I don't want it to pivot. I want it to pivot on these two. So actually it will work if I do it with a move. So we're gonna go move, and we're just gonna move it this way. See what it's doing? So now it's going to center itself to some degree. The only problem is that this knee bend is probably thrown off a little bit, but that's a good thing because I have to reposition the knees anyway. So we're going to start with the knees. The thing with left clicking as a select option, which is pretty good, is that when you left click as an edit, it deactivates anything else that's selected. So single select will deselect everything, and shift select will select multiples. So there you go with that. So now what we're going to do, actually I got the X mirror on, so I can move an individual one and then it will be fine. So I got to center this as well, and it looks pretty centered with the knee. But you got to get it spot on with the kneecap, which is around here. So we're just going to have to move it slightly. So go to move, and where's my move tool at? I don't know. Should have popped up. Oh, it's up here. So we're going to move it just a slight bit like that. There we go. And a slight bit forward like so. So that way that knee bend is still in there because I moved everything. And now we should be good. So now the other part is getting this part of the body centered, the top portion centered with the arms. So that's what makes, like I said, Rigify pretty tough, is that you have to fit everything in the right positions. So what you want to do, if you don't want to affect everything in the bottom that you got positioned really good, what you're going to do is use your border select and select everything below the torso area. And what we're going to do is hide that. Hit the H key and hide it so that you don't affect the bottom portion. All you want to affect is this top portion to center it. So that's what we're going to do right now. It's not going to disconnect anything or break the rig, but it gives you a good, clear understanding that you're not going to affect the bottom portion. So now what we want to do is do top view. So we go to view, look for the top view from viewpoint, and go top. And now what we want to do is level this in so that you get a good playing field for the head and the face and everything else. So what we're going to do is border select and select everything. Make sure, like I said, this transparency thing is selected so you can go through all of the actual bones. It will allow you to go through everything, even if you're at the top view. And now what we're going to do is move it back a little bit and forward just to match the nose parts, just a slight bit. And we will go back out of the edit mode to object mode and then slightly move the character over to the left, because you can see the nose isn't aligned 100%. See that nose right there is off a little bit. So what I recommend to do is go to edit mode instead of sliding it to the left, because that's going to throw off the bones really bad. And select the object and then slide it to the left slightly so that the nose fits pretty much as approximate as you possibly can get it. And there you go. So the nose is about fitting in a good area space. We probably want to bring the nose a little bit forward more, but we'll do all that with the face rig itself instead of doing it with the bone alignment, because we got the bone alignment pretty much leveled. We want this bone to be slightly up forward because that's the shoulder bone, and we want these bones to somewhat be leveled going straight out. So let's go back to edit mode for the bone structure, and actually it's not going to work in that particular position because we selected on the mesh. So you got to select the bone or any area of the bone, and then you go to edit mode for the bones, because there's different modes for each 3D object or asset you choose. So I just chose to select deselect the mesh for the actual full body, and now I got it selected on the bone for the arms. So we can move this joint if we want, because this looks like the arm is bent to some degree, and we want to correct that position to some degree, and then we can take this bone and we can move that and correct that as well. Well, that one isn't that correct. Let's actually Control Z that and figure out what we want to do with the arms. So let's go back to view. We're going to go to viewport point, go to top, and what we want to do with that is select this whole portion of the hand, because we want to move the hand in a good position. So we're going to go C, select that, and like I said, it's going to move the other side with the X mirror. So now we got that positioned really good with respect to the hand, and then we can pull it out, or actually pull it up. So now we're good with alignment for the head. We got the head bone directly in the center of the head. That's where we want it. And that's the spine bone right there that's going towards the back. So we're good with that. That's actually what you want. And you can see this is one of the face bones. Maybe the part of the jaw. I think this is the jawbone. And look at it. It's pretty much coming right at out of the point where the actual side of the face is at. And we can adjust some of that stuff as we see fit. So there we go with that. What we're going to do is rotate view and go to the front view. So you're going to be using this a lot because you want to get approximate locations to narrow this stuff down and get it to work better. So we'll go here at that joint point and at this joint point, and we're going to move it up. But we also want to maintain the distance, the safe distance between these points over here. So you probably want to move that part, which was going to move these two up, because doing that you want to move everything up from here. So let's try that. We're going to go move and see what it does. I think it's going to move everything up. Nope, that's wrong. So we're going to Control Z that back, and instead we'll select every one of these bones and the C on that bone there as well as that one. And now we should be able to go up and move everything like so. And the reason why I wanted to do that is to get this up higher so that the arms will align properly when you rotate this part of the arms up to here. Just because the size of the character, it's not really fitting the form factor too good. So now what we're going to do is go there. We're going to use the 3D cursor, shift select, cursor selected to selected, and now we're going to rotate everything going up this way. So we have to select each portion, then use the C key and select all of that, and then use the 3D cursor again. So it's defaulted to 3D cursor, so you don't have to keep changing it, which is pretty good. And we're going to rotate in the Y direction and bring up the arms like that. And then we can also grab this point and then see all of this, and then we're going to pull this way to make that bone a little bit bigger, and then go from this point and see that one, and then pull going that way. Now we got it centered pretty much, and the hardest part is the hands. So the hands will have to be fitted into the character's hand. So to do that, you just have to use your shift key and your mouse wheel, scroll wheel, and just keep panning and rotating, panning and rotating, panning and rotating until you get a good position. Once you got a good active position, then you want to move this. This is the wrist bone in a good position. So we'll do move. Where's the move option? Make sure you level it into a good wrist position, and then we want to back this up to this point, and you want to pull this way. So let's pull this way a little bit, and we want to take these, rotate it, and you want to, I'm going to go and try, let's see, bone size. What does that do? Let's go with scale and try to scale it up. So we can move it this way or that way and scale. We can actually select them all. Let's try to select them all, and then go up and scale. So scale them up to move them. As long as that connection, you see that connection with the wrist bone is maintained, you should be good. Let's see. Let's move the actual bones over. What's up? Yeah, he's good.
He wants to go in.
He can't go in.
Oh, he can't go in?
You know he can't go in.
You guys got him over here.
Uncle Arch, you know he can't go in. All the other cats are in here. You can't mix with the cats.
Good.
Alright, so you take, let's see, we take the bones, and what we're going to do is just move it. The reason why you don't want to just free move it is because the bone rotations is going to be thrown off. So to avoid from throwing off the bone rotations, what you have to do is to go to move, and then just move each individual one. So you move it like that, move it like that, and just approximately get it into the right position. And you see those dotted lines, that means that they're connected, they're still connected. That's why you want to use the move option. And in 3D space, sometimes you get lost, so you have to find the correct position. And that's why that particular thing with the volume that guy was talking about and showing, I have to find that video, and I'll try to do it in another video. I can't do it in this one now. I'm just way too far out of the zone of reference. So another thing is this bone is in the wrong position, so we're going to bring this down like so, and then these bones are in the wrong position. So we'll do C, deselect that one, and select all of these. And I guess I'll select all these too, and bring this down. There we go. So now we're doing something right. We're going in the right direction. We're going to deselect everything here. And we're going to move this bone to the left. And right click, because that made an error. As you can see, this right here is in the wrong position. So try not to make errors. Deselect that one first. You have to Control Z to go all the way back if you made any errors. And we will approximate the locations for these bones. So this video is very long, obviously. Y'all folks will see it's going to be maybe an hour and a half long, but it's worth it to learn this stuff. You really want to dig deep into it. Watch as many videos as you can if you can't understand something. Control Z. I learned a lot of this stuff from Blender gurus, like people who are really good at it. And we'll move this one back this way. Actually, I made a wrong thing because that messes up the bone angle. Control Z back. We will take that whole bone and let's see, sway it back that way. Nope, that's wrong. Control Z. I will have to, let's see how I can do this. Well, actually it's bent, so we have to fix the bone angles anyway. So I'm not worried about it. I'll take that and move it up. So let's move it up. It's gonna throw off the bone angles, and the sizing of the bone, but I'm not worried. Take that one, shift it up, and then take this one and shift it up. And to see what I'm doing a little bit better, gotta go here, move this one down, and that one is somewhat broken, so I can't do it that way because it's a double connection in there. There's a joint that's double connected, so it's double jointed somehow. So let's move it now. So you have to double click it if it's double jointed, and what that means is that if you do it the wrong way, it's going to really affect your ability to build the right bone sizes. And also it will break the parenting. So you don't want to do that. You see bones break their joint from their joints, then you don't want to do that. So here we go. What you want to do is get the tip to go through the fingertip to some degree, and you want to position things like knuckles and stuff like that, where the knuckles reside. If you want to figure that out, actually you would have to go back to your display for your bones through your armature, and then hit that in front thing and detect where you think the knuckles and the joints actually bend. So you don't have to be 100% accurate, but accuracy in this part definitely pays off, I think. Now I'm going to move this 3D cursor over here because I don't like where my gizmo's at. So I will try to move it in a respective position that indicates better. Let's go to select, and now we should get, why isn't it not showing my move? Oh, go to move tool, my bad. So you go to move tool, and now I can move it. Oh, so that's the double jointed part. Shift, oops, not shift, control Z, back it up, and make sure I double click it. Now move it back. I just want to resize that bone because that bone was supposed to be respectively a little bit bigger, and this bone here has to be a little bit bigger. This one actually is a smaller bone than the other ones. So bone sizes matter, especially with parenting and things like that. Actually, that was very wrong again. So I double clicked it. Nope, that didn't work. Control Z. That's why this is so hard. It's the most difficult part of Rigify. So single click, double click, and then I can move it. There we go. Doing the fingers is the hardest part. Pretty hard. There's also a way to fix the bone angles if your bone angles are off. So I'm just going to move this one over a little bit and move this one over a little bit because the finger isn't perfect. There's no perfection, state of perfection involved. It's just you trying to approximate and make things work the best way you think it could fit in there. Now here goes another thing about the bone angles. If you see, you can make everything else hide if you want. See, select all those and then hide it so you can see exactly what you're doing. Hide this. Well, you got to select the whole thing. And then now you have the ability to fix the bone angles a lot better. Shift select that one twice if I can get to it properly. There we go. And correct that bone angle right there. And this one got to be corrected because it looks broken, like a broken finger. And that's the top of the knuckle. Double click that one, bring it down. And then we'll unhide so we can see more. So alternate H, bring that down. And there you go. That's a little bit better finger hand work, but it's not the best that I could do. You just got to keep playing with it. This one's going to go that way a little bit because it needs to be a slight bit bigger. And this one got to go a little bit that way. And then you can make that go back a little bit more to make it bigger of a control. And that is one of the fingers. So you got to do that for every single finger all the way around the whole body. So I'm going to do all that and I'll be right back so I can cut down the time on the video. So actually I'll speed it up and put it in a time lapse so y'all folks can see that and at least get to see the whole process. Alright folks, so we're back and hopefully that worked out for you, just watching that quick movement of getting it to time lapse or whatever. It's all good. So what we're going to do now is go into the meta rig face rig phase. So we're in the face rig phase and this part is very, very difficult. I don't recommend a newbie to try it if you're brand new to rigging. Try to learn basic rigging first before you get into the meta rig stuff, because you have to understand that if you break the rig by one little offset of, if you say I click this and I move it and you see that one part of the bone moves out of place with the other part, if you don't control Z to go back, you're going to lose that actual rig. In terms of being able to generate an advanced rig, it won't work. You can't break any part of the rig. That's why I had to keep control Zing back every single time I mess up by moving the fingers out of place. So any part of the rig, of the facial rig, getting broken will ruin the whole entire meta rig in terms of you being able to generate. When you go down here and you're on object mode. It only will work on object mode when you try to generate the rig, and after you've edited everything out through edit mode. Remember I told you don't move everything in positions of X or wherever you're moving it. You have to leave it on 0, 0, 0, 0 starting out. Make sure you go to edit mode first, then you start to move everything. So that's also going to cause an issue if you moved it before you went to edit mode. So, or scaled it before you went to edit mode. So you have to move and scale everything in edit mode. So we're still in edit mode on the bones, and what we're going to do is play around with this X mirror. Now keep in mind the X mirror will affect you as well when you get to the center of the actual bones. So when you get to the center, you have to deactivate the X mirror by going up here and clicking this X mirror off like that. So you should have had X mirror on for the whole entire process. What I had to do is reset the bones location for the hand because it was slightly offset. So I fixed that part. Try to mirror everything so everything matches. So it doesn't have to be exact 100%. It can be off by 0.00009% or something. I don't know. So now what we have to do is match up the eyes and match up the rest of the face. So what I want to do is go to the X-ray, not X-ray, but to the what do they call it? The wireframe mode. So you go to wireframe mode and you should be able to see the contours to some degree, but let's go to this mode over here, which is the solid mode, and then try to get a good solid view of it. So what I want to do is go to the front view first and then try to get it to match everything on the face. So before we do that, so we don't screw anything up, what you want to do is take every single bone besides the face, and you're going to go in and use the C key. Hit the C key, so you do like what is known as circle select, and the C key will help you to get rid of these other bones that you don't want in view. So you want to get all these other bones out of view, and you're gonna do hide, so you hide them so you don't affect them when you're trying to do the face rig editing. So all that is key to do. So now what we're going to do is go to view, go to viewport, viewpoint, and go to front. So we pull up the front view, and now we can use this front view to actually level out everything that you can level out. So what we'll start with first is the bottom of the jaw. So we want the bottom of the jaw to fit. Actually, we're going to do the side view first because I can't see the side view. Side view will help me as well. So we'll do the right side. Let's do the right side. And now we want to pull this jawbone down to the jaw area here. So you're going to single click it and make sure that it doesn't pull out of the socket. So we're going to do the move. Make sure we move the 3D cursor somewhere over here. So go to cursor, hit right there, and that will give you the move capability in this area. So you go to move, slide it down, and as you can see, it's moving and making the bone resize, which is really good and what we want. So we're putting that right there in that position. We're taking this one, we do the same thing, and we're going to slide that as the jawbone going down like this in this position. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring in the flesh so we can see where the flesh is somewhat touching. So what you're going to do here, we're going to take the head bone, and we're going to take the head bone and the neck bone, and we're going to make them hide. So we're going to hide that. Alright, so what I decided to do is pull out of that side view and try to get this side of the jawbone. So we're going to grab this point here, that point here, and this point here, as well as the side of the lips, and try to move this all down. What it's going to do is affect this bone. So actually we want to select this bone as well, which is this one right here. We're not going to worry too much about the tongue. This is the tongue here. We're going to leave that tongue in position, or maybe we might actually pull it down, but if we pull it down, it's going to come down too far. So we'll leave that there, and we're going to pull that down. By doing that, it's going to pull the whole entire face of this edge, this right side and left side down. So we're going to go move. Actually, we'll use the cursor, put the 3D cursor here, move, and now we shall be able to move it down. So let's move it down, and you'll see everything moves together. This bone starts to elongate, so that's a good thing because you want this bone to be all the way down to the bottom of the jaw. This all depends on the sizing of your character. So if your 3D model character has a large scale face, this is going to be what's going to happen. Now keep in mind the mouth will have to be moved. This part right here and right here will need to be moved. So you're going to have to move that back to some degree. And before you do that, you probably want to take the tongue and move the tongue as well. So if you want to see the tongue, you're going to have to go out. Let's go to object mode, click on the head or the body, and we cannot see the tongue actually, so we probably should have left the tongue separate from joining all the body parts, because you can't see the tongue, because when you try to hide it, everything is going to hide. So alternate H, so the tongue is not separate. This may actually not work out, folks, the way that I thought it would work, because all the body parts probably should, some of the body parts should be individually still there so that they can move in unison. But we'll see what we can pull off. I don't think this is actually going to work. My face rig may fail, but I may get something to pull off either way. So we're going to go back to edit mode. Actually, Control Z that. We have to click on the bone, go back to edit mode. So I may have to do multiple sessions of this to pull it off. We're going to pull this back just to fit where it's at, which is the flesh right here, and then we're going to pull this tip down. So we'll pull this down to the bottom of the lip right there, and we'll pull it forward slightly to adjust for the shape of the face. Pull it down a little bit and it should be right there. So that's pretty good. And we'll move this one forward a little and leave it right there. So that's that. Actually, we'll take the tongue. See if we can move the tongue. And we'll move it down a little and back. There we go. And Control Z to back that up. Move it down a little bit more. So it's approximately where the tongue should be. It's actually in the teeth position right now, so back it up a little bit more. And that will be the tongue area. So now what we need to do is play with the nose bridge. So the nose bridge is kind of tough, but we can pull this off by selecting these here. And we should be able to select all of them on both sides, and it should be able to pull everything down. And also over here for the cheekbones. And we should actually move all of it. So that way we can pull the whole rig down a little bit more, including the eyes, because the eyes need to be down. So we will grab this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. We will grab all of that, deselect that one, and circle select all of these. Sorry about that. Didn't mean to do that. And circle select all of these. There we go. So now this should allow me and afford me to pull the nose segment down, and it's going to pull this down a little bit. So let's see, there we go. Nothing broke. Pretty good. And we'll leave the nose right there. Now the eyes are somewhat in the sizing that it should be, so we'll deselect everything around the eyes. Before we do that, we want to grab this point here, or sorry about that point here, and then pull to widen the nose out. And I think that should work well right there. And we probably going to take off the X mirror because the nose is crooked. Looks like this guy's face has a crooked nose. So to do that, we'll go to the X mirror, take that off, and move this up a little bit so it fits his nose positioning, like so. And we'll select this one and move that one down a little bit. And yeah, that's good. And then this individual one we can move up to here. There we go. So this is basically how the face rig's supposed to work. Hopefully y'all folks got the gist of it. And in terms of the structural integrity of the face rig, it should be touching the skin. So certain aspects of the face rig should touch the skin. So that's what we'll do with these here. So this one, we'll move it back. How you move it back, you got to use this here, like so, and it should move back the other one. Actually, Control Z, use the X mirror, forgot about that. Move that back, and then move it towards the temple so that it cuts the skin. So to tell that, you have to get rid of the in front view, and then you can see how it touches. So it should touch the temple, and if this side isn't touching properly, you're gonna get rid of the X mirror and then move it a little bit more, or yeah, X mirror. Let's go to the X mirror and then slide it over where it's touching. Pretty much it has to go inside the flesh to some degree, and it doesn't have to be 100% accurate as long as it touches. So there you go with that. And then other stuff you can pull off as well. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pull, actually Control Z that, sorry about that. And we'll put the X mirror back on and pull this back and then push together and touch the skin. Yes, babe? Yeah, baby? What's up, baby?
Outside, like that.
Outside? Oh, okay.
You feeding?
Yeah, I gotta go and feed them. Alright, so now I'm almost finished, actually. Almost finished the face rig. All I gotta do is get this one to fit and the eyes. So let's go and put this overlay thing in front. We're going to click on a single one and then use the C key to highlight all of these. And what we're going to do is scale this one down. That's how we'll do it. So scale, and it will bring it in. And we have to bring it back to some degree. So we're going to scale it a little bit more. Scale it down in size. And then we're going to move it up in position. And then we're going to move it back in position. So now it's pretty much close to fitting the eyes. So now another thing you want to do is rotate. So we're going to pivot on this point here and rotate it. So we'll use that. Use cursor to selected, and we're going to highlight all of them, and we're going to rotate in the Z. Wrong, that's the wrong one. In the Y, there we go, in the Y direction. See? So now you're rotating a little bit to try to get the eye curvature to fit properly. Now we're going to go from that point, we're going to go up, and we're going to go out. Going to go up and just try to narrow down where you can fit the eye. And that will be great. We're going to have to deactivate the X mirror once we get this one narrowed in, because you want to get that right into the eyeball, into the eye socket where it comes right through the eye. We're going to deactivate the in front just to see that it fits, and it should fit pretty good. It looks like it's fitting decent and respectable. Try to get it to also rotate to pull out. So rotate in the Z to pull out like that, and then pull it back. Rotate in the Z again to pull it back that way, and then pull it back this way. Rotate in the Z that way, and pull it back a little bit that way. And there you go. So we're doing really good with the face rig. Don't really have to do too much with that part, besides trying to get it all to link up. So now what I can do is do individual moves to get it to touch the skin. If some part of it breaks, you got to test it to see if it breaks. That part's going to break. So Control Z back and double click it, and it shouldn't break. There you go. And then just try to get it as approximate as possible to fit where it's touching the skin. Like that. See that? And I think the corners is where it kind of like breaks. So bring this back where it's touching the skin. Bring this back where it's touching the skin. Kind of like coming straight through the skin. And so on and so forth. So bam. And bam. There you go. And that should help that part. And then for the eyes, we're going to take off the X mirror, and we're going to fix this part here. So we're going to do C, select everything here, and we're going to move it a little bit, and then we're going to play that rotation game as well. So we got to go back over here, do in front, and Control Z back that part. Control Z. That was a little error because we have to take this and hide that. So we're going to hide that as well as the tongue. Hit the H key. We can actually hide everything if we wanted to, because all the other stuff is in the right position. Maybe this cheek could be fixed first, so let's move that to a good position where it's touching the skin right there, and we can match the lips with the mouth if we want to. The problem with that one is you got to select it 3 times, and I made an error with the this Control Z back with the X mirror, because I did that without the X mirror. So sometimes you're gonna make little errors and kind of screw stuff up, but it's all good. Let's take the X mirror off, pull this one in, like so, and then multi-select that one, take off the X mirror. I mean, yeah, take off the X mirror, or actually I think you could leave the X mirror on this one. And we will move it in. Nope. See, it's breaking off of the bone connection. So let's try it again. Now it got the bone connection, as you can see. And now we got to move that back to a point of reference where it can fit into the skin. And then take off the X mirror and just move this one slightly over. There we go. And then this one, we want that, and this one. So we want this one and this one, and I believe that's good enough. You can move it back. Okay, Control Z that, X mirror, move it back to fit there. And then this last one is the center. Oh, and guess what? The face rig is broke. So Control Z, let's go back out of this position. Somehow the face rig broke. Where these center pieces didn't work out. So let's try that. There we go. So leave it like that. That will be good. And what else do we have to do? So the temple here, make sure we got X mirror, bring that over. Show in front so we can see where that part is. And that part is a triple joint. One, two, 1, 2, 3. I don't know if that will work, but it's probably going to break this joint over here. I don't want that joint to be selected, but let's see if it moves. Yep, that will break the joint. So Control Z, I already knew that was going to happen. Let's try this. That breaks the joint there. So let's try to move it now. There we go. Alright, we got that. Move it forward and in front. Cool. Got that. Move it back. Huh? Just in where?
In the paper.
No, he's in and out, in and out, in and out. Uncle Archie knows. He should have told you just now.
Yeah, he told me it might.
Okay, so he's been in and out.
Okay.
I move him around, you know. They have to move around because they got to get their circulation moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good guy. Alright, so now we got that done, and pretty much the rest of it is very simple. Got to move the ears in place, got to get the head, where you get all these parts of the head down in. So I found one way to do the head part. You can do all this here, and you can try to do scale and just scale it in. So you can scale it in like that, where it pulls it together, and until you see the flesh break through right there. Then you just deactivate one side and the other, and then keep scaling it in like so. So I made an error. Control Z. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, back it out. So what I did is I have which one selected? Actually, I got the X mirror on, so I should be able to do it that way. Oh, I got the X mirror off. So Control Z, put the X mirror back on. There we go. So wherever it crosses, you stop, and then deactivate that one. And wherever it crosses, you stop and deactivate that one, and so on and so forth. There you go. And then you deactivate the X mirror and then just fix those parts. You can go a little bit further to touch the skin. Go a little bit further. For some reason the scale works great doing this. And okay folks, so I got it going. I got the full face rig, and y'all folks can see right here everything is rigged up. All the actual points that need to cross the skin and surface is good. We got the eyes is good, and I actually went through with rigging it already in terms of getting it to go 100% through. So let's see real quick if I can get this really solid onto the skin. That's good right there, and everything is solid where it needs to be. So you got to make sure that you get certain things working, like these in the places where you want the eyes to bulge and stuff like that, or not eyes, but the top portions of the eyes, the brow area. You definitely want to get the eyes itself to be fitted of the face rig, to have this part go inside, not in the corner here, but right in this part over here of the eye. And you want the eyeball, you want this actual bone to come straight through the eyeball. Try to get it as close to the center as possible, but it doesn't have to be 100% center, and you'll get it to work for sure. The lips, you want the lips to really be set like this. Now I had some problems with the teeth. I'll try to show y'all folks if you can see. There's some bones for the teeth. This bone here, and there's another bone under it. I don't know if you can see it, but right here there's two bones that will be for the teeth. So I tried to place those right where it intersects the teeth. One is crossing, let me click it, one is crossing right through at this point on the teeth, and the other one, you can't really see it, but if I can get closer in, I think it's that one. Oh, I have to do in front. There we go. Sorry about that, folks. So you got to use that in front option, and you can see it. So I got this one crossing the teeth, and I got this one crossing the bottom teeth right here, right where it breaks the plane of the teeth. So I'm hoping that this is going to work. Now, one of the things that I had a problem with was this area here with the outfit. So I might have to take off the outfit, meaning do it over, take out this part of the outfit, and have them without this particular armor type outfit, and probably try to place that on later on somehow and get it to connect to the rig. I don't know if I can do all that, but with Rigify, I think you have to do everything in the meta rig phase, which this is the meta rig phase here, and I think I'm going to be ready to go and move it over to make it a full solid rig. One thing I had a problem also with is the actual teeth itself. With the teeth, some of the teeth get stuck in one place and don't carry over. So what I did, I took the bones for the tongue and I hit it, because that may be causing some issues. I'm not sure. I'm not worried about the movement of the tongue. I'm just doing this as an example as to what you can do. And since I couldn't really position the tongue properly, and there's no layer for the tongue, before I actually merged the parts, there was no layer for the tongue. So there's no way I could have got that working much better than what I have. So that's that. So what we're going to do now, we're done with all this. We're going to go to object mode. Once you're done, your whole entire face rig setup and all of the rest of the body parts are fitted properly. Show y'all folks the hands just to see. Make sure everything is fitted properly. I changed all the bone rolls to be 180. I don't know if y'all folks saw that. No, I don't think y'all saw that, but I went in and I changed all the bone rolls. To change the bone rolls, basically, you just go into the edit mode, click on the bone, and you open up here and you check the roll. So you check the roll for every bone. All of my bone rolls is -180 for the hand. So you want to make all your bone rolls the same. All you do basically is go there and you rotate by going left or right over here. There's a faster way to do it, but I forgot exactly how to do it. You would shift select one and then shift select all the rest, and then I think you, let me see, let me try it real quick. Say we'll throw this one off to 179, throw this one off to 183, throw this one off to like 173, and then throw this one off to like 190. So you go to this bone, say that's the one you want, you shift select it, set it to the value that you want, and then select all the rest of the bone rolls, and then you, I don't know exactly how that works, but I think you roll it to 180, and then check them. 180, 183, 183. Nope, that didn't work. So I don't know exactly how to do that. I forgot. I would have to watch that tutorial video for it. Go all the way back to whatever video it was. Might have been one of Darren Lyle's videos. I'm not really sure who. I forgot. But once I get that tutorial, I'll come back, double back, and make another video for this, just for that part, so folks can see how to do the hands. I might do separate videos for each body part, because some of them are easy to do, like the X mirror stuff is easy to do. Right now I have X mirror applied, so that would apply across the whole entire body. So all I gotta do is just do Control Z and back all of that stuff up that I did, and it will fix all my problems. So now everything's set at 180. Hold on. Nope. Gotta keep going back. There we go. Now everything's set back at 180. Alright, so that's that. I just wanted y'all folks to see everything is outfitted really well. Even to the point of the hip bone sitting in a good area for the hip, the back, spinal cord. Everything is adjusted properly. Like I said in the beginning, you want to have the knee slightly bent. Those are really important. And everything should be evenly distributed across the body, and so that the rig, when you get the rig to go through, is going to go through smoothly. Everything should synchronize based on automatic weights. So I'll show y'all folks that part. We're going to go to object mode. Once you're in object mode, you can go to this armature icon here, which is the object data icon, and it's your meta rig that you're on. So we're going to scroll down, make sure the meta rig is selected, and go to generate rig. Once you do that, the rig should be pretty much ready to transition. So let me save this real quick. I'm going to save this as Rigify 3. because I already got these other versions. You want to stage your versions so you can go back at any point in time. And if you're doing tutorial videos, you'll be able to jump back into it if you have like a system crash or a computer crash, maybe Blender 2.80 crashes or something. Say something goes wrong in your process of what you tried to create or generate. Say you want to generate it and it didn't work right. You can go back and troubleshoot. At least you'll be able to go back. So let's go to generate, and you'll see it's going to take some time. It may say not responding up here. You may crash Blender 2.8. Whatever happens, it's going to happen. Either way, as long as you save it, you're good. So now we're going to go into the next phase, which is the more of the testing the rig phase. So now it's the actual rig. It gives you the rig controls. You get all the different controls and things like that. What you have to understand is how to hop back and forth from one mode to the next in order to control your rig. If you never control the rig, that's what's required. So you have to understand that stuff. Right now, the rig has no controls, meaning it's not going to control the actual 3D character because it's not parented yet. So keep that in mind. We're going to get rid of the meta rig, or we can hide it. Either way, it doesn't matter. So now the meta rig is gone. That's the first rig that you see up there. And keep in mind that all of your 3D assets are going to be hidden in terms of the rigs that are built into it. There's deformation bones that you're going to need to select, and when you select all of the deformation bones, then you can come in and select the body. So what I mean by that, you'll see here, go to this bone option. First I have to select the armature. Actually go to this to the data. Sorry about that. So you go to the data, not the bone option, my bad. Bone option just tells you all the bones, stuff like that, the breakdown of the bones. So in this data area, it gives you layers. This is the old way it used to do with Blender, and it used to have a little layer option here. So they still have this, and this is really useful. If you want to get to the actual the layer that you need, which is not visible, these three right here are deformation layers. So that means that it's hiding the armature back there. This is the armature controls. This is the deformation bones. So it's hiding the bones, I should say. So we click on that, and now you can see the bones here. You have 3 layers, like I said. So this is the one that you're going to use. So we're going to go to edit mode, or not edit mode, go to pose mode, and we're going to make sure we click in front here, which used to be also known as X-ray. And when you click in front, you get to see them all. So they're going to be green. They have to be green. If they're not green, then you didn't get to the right bones. So this is how they look. They look really, really cool. And this is basically what the meta rig created. Here goes another layer of bones. This is deformation bones. It helps to do all the IK, FK stuff to deform the actual body as it sees fit. And here goes some other deformation bones with the face rig. So you got 3 layers of deformation bones. You only need that one layer, and then you use the A key, Shift A, or not Shift A, but you just hit the A key and it selects all of them. So now what we're going to try to do is automatic weights. You may also be able to do weight painting, but I'm not that great at weight painting, so I do automatic weights, and I hope that everything works 100%. Sometimes you're going to get some errors, and I need to dig a little bit deeper into how weight painting works in order to fix the errors whenever I get errors. So my error was this armor, like I told you, and it more than likely is going to happen again, where the armor ends up moving while I try to move other body parts. So at this phase, after that, you're going to go to object mode, and you're going to select the mesh. But you have to use the shift key. So you shift select the mesh, and the armature should already be selected. You see how the armature is selected? Then you're going to do Control P. If that doesn't work, you select the armature once and then select the mesh, or vice versa, the mesh then the armature, and then do Control P. Now you can do parent with automatic weights. Now in the previous versions of Blender, you would be able to move it from one level here under the other, but it did not work for me when I tried it. So we'll see what happens. So what we're gonna do, I should also do the eyes, but I did the eyes separately last time and it worked perfectly. I didn't have a problem. So I'm gonna do the same thing. So we're gonna do actually we already did parented with automatic weights, and the body did not move under the rig, so that's fine. What we're gonna do is go to pose mode, and now we're gonna hide this. How you do it, you just click on any other layer, and you can click and drag to, well, actually use select or shift and drag, and you should be able to activate all the other layers that are hidden quickly. So some layers I don't want, which is this green one. The green one doesn't do anything for me. I already tried, and those green ones don't do anything. So it may be specific type of controls that work well in a particular function. I don't know exactly, but now when you're in pose mode is designed for animations. So we can perform animations or test rigs in the pose mode itself. But in order to get to pose mode, you have to be selected on that actual rig that you want to pose. So let's go back in object mode. If I did not select the rig, this advanced rig, I wouldn't be able to pose anything. So that's why I hid the deformation bones. You still can bring out the deformation bones. We'll do Control Z to back that out. If you want to do Control Z, you have to go in the actual viewport. You can't do it over here. So we can do it this way, shift select, and now you can see the deformation bones upon using the advanced rig, but we really don't need it because it doesn't do anything for us at this point. That was just to parent the actual mesh to it. So now what we're going to do is click on the actual advanced rig in this little box just to test, and right now I'm in select box mode, as you can see, so I can't do much. So I have to, let me click on this, use the T key to bring this out, and I can use the W key if I want. So the T key would allow me to go to select box, go to select, or I could have used it as a W key. So we probably didn't have to activate the T key and just use the W key to switch, but we wouldn't know which one we're on yet until we look down here or something like that. Select box, circle select, lasso select. Now I'm in the select option. As you can see down here, it says select move. So now I should be able to move it. And my parenting with automatic weights didn't work, so we will have to go back. Nothing actually worked. Let's see. So that none of that stuff worked. So we had an issue. We'll go back. Let's go back to the deformation and go back to pose mode. Select all, object mode, select the body, select the armature. I believe that's the armature, yep. So Control P, and let's see if it works with automatic weights. For some reason it's not working now, but it did work the last time I did it. So if it doesn't work, just keep trying, see what you can get. So hopefully that worked out. Let's go to object mode, go to pose mode. We're gonna deselect. Now, I really don't know why you have to actually get the armature to work with automatic weights for the deformation bones, as opposed to, well, get the automatic weights to work with the deformation bones as opposed to using the armature. I have no idea, but it is what it is. We'll see what happens. There it goes. Now it's working, and as you can see, we have some issues over here. I'll show you folks real quick what's the issues. So the eyes actually are not parented. Like I said, I didn't want to do it, so I didn't do that. And this armature, or not armature, but the armor part, you see this upper part of the armor did not work, and the teeth are not being parented for some reason. So those are some issues, the mesh issues that I have. We're going to do Control Z and back that out. So we'll do it again, but this time we're just going to get the eyes. So we're going to go to object mode, zoom in close on the eyes, click in there, make sure the eyeballs light up. You see this little orange rim, so that will grab the eyes. Then we click the armature, and that was wrong. Control Z, shift select the armature, Control Z, that didn't work. Shift select the armature, Control Z, that didn't work. So shift select, there we go. Now we got that working. So we got the eyes lit up and the armature lit up. So now we're going to do Control P, parent with automatic weights, and that should work out for getting the eyes parented. Like I said, I really don't know why the mesh is not working for that part of the armature and also the teeth, but I'm under the hunch that it will work with another character design that I have. Since this character design is not the best in terms of mesh design and in terms of layering, having good layers, I was hoping that I could actually have the teeth separate, and that would have worked a lot better if I had the teeth in a separate layer. But it doesn't come with the teeth in a separate layer like I mentioned, so that's an issue that you're gonna have to deal with if you have 3D meshes that are not layered good. You might want to fix that stuff in the modeling side of things. So let's see, I don't know which ones is which, but we'll go to pose mode to check that out. And that one I don't want. That one I don't want. This one I want. There we go. So we got all these showing now, and now you'll see that the eyes are going to work. So I click on the actual rig for the eyes. These are the rig for the eyes. I'll take off the overlays, and I'll show y'all folks that the eyes work. See that? So parenting with automatic weights works really well with this particular character's eyes and some other stuff. So you can right click in between while you're doing that to return back to the previous stated condition while you're doing some sort of a rig testing. The reason why I can use the eyes controls, even though I hid the what they call the overlays, I used the overlays and I hid it. Reason being is because I activated the eyes here, so you can basically pull off some really dope animations without actually without using the animation controller, just by using Screen Magic. So what I like to do sometimes, since Eevee is a really dope renderer, we'll go to Eevee. Right now it's not set up that great, so I'll go take off the bloom and try to fix some of this shadow effect and issues, colors, textures. You want to fix a lot of that stuff. So let's go to the background for the first thing and adjust the background just to give it a decent look. Then what we'll do, the light is really bad, the lighting, and the reason being is because wherever the light is, it's just too bright. So this is the light here. It's a sun, I believe. So we're gonna have to go into the sun source, actually go out of pose mode, go to object mode, click the light source, then go over to properties and go to object data for the light and drop down that energy to about 50%, and then re-enter the character phase. There we go. Now he's looking a lot better. Still doesn't look, he looks kind of dusty or so. I'm not sure why his color is kind of not that great, but it's better than nothing, right? Looks better than nothing. You can change a lot of this stuff. Let's go and drop it down to 30%. And what else do we want to do? Let's play with the shadow. So we want to add soft shadows. In order to do all that, I'm not talking about the shadows here. We got to go to the render side. So we go to the Eevee render area. This is Eevee. You can also go to cycles and see what cycles looks like. But cycles is more dependent on the light because it's a more photorealistic type of rendering engine. So you have to adjust the lighting again. This particular lighting is the sunlight, and then this one is the spotlight. If you use nodes, it will work better. So use nodes and then change the strength up or down or wherever. You have to move the lamp over. So say I wanted to use cycles with the lamp, I would have to move this down. So make sure you're in the select option, and then you can move the actual lamp. Right now I'm not in select, I'm in select box. So W to select, move it closer. There we go. So now it's closer to his face. Alright, so I don't know why it's not lighting up that great, but that's all good. We can get it to light much better over time. So it's really giving me a funny look, a dusty kind of look. I don't really like that. So you just want to keep playing with your adjustments. There goes the sunlight with Eevee, but not Eevee, cycles. So what I'm gonna do here, it looks like it's not smoothed down. As you can see, some of the stuff looks kind of messed up, pixelated. So what you got to do with that, go to object mode and then go to smooth shade or shade smooth. And what is going on? I don't know what's going on with this character. It's just looking really crazy. Something's wrong with it. But let's go to the light again, that light source, and let's move it over a little bit. I don't know where the freak is the light source. Why is it so hard to move it? Alright, and what we're going to do is step down the strength to about 50. Still, the lighting looks terrible, and there's something wrong with his mesh. I don't know what happened to the mesh, but I'm not worried about it. Let's take it down to 10. Alright, take it up to 20. Yeah, there's something most definitely wrong with his mesh. His mesh looks weird. I don't know why that happened. It just all of a sudden happened. Maybe because I'm in cycles and whatever. I don't know. So we go up here. Let's look at the got light paths. You got all different things. We got freestyle activated. I didn't want freestyle. You want GPU compute. Let's take out that here. Really don't need that. Go to advanced. We don't need that. Alright, so the sample rate is very low, and that's why it's producing very fast pixels. If we go to like 100 samples, let it render out like that. There we go. That's probably why it's looking really bad. Actually, that's not why. I don't know why. That's weird. Let's go and jump back to Eevee. And what in the world just happened? I have no idea what just happened. Bloom is not on. Let's go to ambient occlusion. Let's go to shadows. Go to soft shadows. Play with the shadows a little bit. What just happened? It's weird. The light. Maybe because of the light. Turn it to a point light. Something went wrong, man. This is weird. I've never seen anything happen like this before. Sometimes these engines, they bug out, you know. It's really weird how it's bugging out on 2.8, Blender 2.8. Never does this on the other previous versions of Blender. So I don't know, man. I really don't know what's going on with that. Let's bring this down to 0. I think the mesh is screwed up somehow. Use nodes. Okay. There we go. So I had to click use nodes a bunch of times and now it popped back in. Yeah, that is weird. That's probably what it was. It deactivated the nodes. So somehow it jumped out of the phase of whatever phase it was in. Now I got the light back. And we're going to drop this down to 20. And see what the lighting provides us. That's not too bad. Let's move the lamp over here. See what it gives us. Either way, the texture looks really horrible on this character. It was looking much better yesterday. I don't know what's going on with it. Over here it looks good on this side to some degree, but on this side looks really, really bad. And I don't know if that's the light per se, the light setup. Alright, so I changed the radius. Looks like it's changing things a little bit. But even then, I never had to do that with the radius before. So I don't know if the render engine is giving us issues like that. I'm not sure. We're on Eevee render, so pretty weird stuff. See how those shadows is looking like that? I already got rid of that by using the 0 on soft shadows. So that's why that is working out for me. Let's drop this light down a little bit more to about 10. There we go. And let's go into the character's texture and see if we can strengthen something. So we'll go more solid with roughness or something like that. Let's see. Give him more color. Like, the color is really horrible. Use nodes. Surface. No. This is not going to change the color. Probably have to go into the node editor and try to play with that shader or shade editor and basically just play with the colors here if I can. Nope, that's not doing anything. How about the principled BSDF? That's the same thing as messing with this over here. So let's see, changing the tint, clear coat roughness. I just want that facial texture to come out to be a little bit more well defined because it looks really dull. Hit overlays, and as you can see, it just doesn't, it's not popping the way that I want it. It's better than nothing though, but I still like it to look really, really solid. Let's go with metallic, see what that looks like. Actually, that looks much better. So let's bring this down and bring it in. Yeah, that looks much better. Even though the shadow is kind of affecting like that, I like that better. So what I'm going to do is play with the lighting, hit the N key, position his head like so, and now we can play with the eyes. So let's go use the overlays, click on the armature, go to pose mode, and activate these eyes. Go back out of overlays, and we're going to drop this down. Now we're going to go up here, right click, toggle the header, and now we can record this session here of playing with the eyes. See? And then I can rotate, hold on, rotate, I wish the light source didn't play around jumping back and forth when I moved it. Maybe I can fix that through going to cycles, but the problem with cycles is that it's going to keep trying to re-render every time I move in the viewport. So we'll change another angle position like that and do an eyes movement. See how that lighting keeps jumping? So let's try, actually over here we gotta click to make that go away. So as you can see, I can use this screen as my 3D, what do they call it? Actually screwed up over here. Let's pop this out. No. Where is my controls? Let's see. Alright, here we go. Pop the overlays out and get my controls back. My eyes. It's not activated. That's why it's not moving. Okay. Go back to overlays. And now I can play with them like that. See? And create scenes that are really, really dope. And record this. So this is just giving y'all folks an idea as to what you can do when you got a really, really good render engine. Now what I'm going to try to do is fix this lighting issue. So we'll bring this out, N key, and what we'll try to do is at the tail end of the video, what I'll do is take little small clips or make another video and show y'all folks the end result of that actual animation. That's a live animation, real-time animation, so there's going to be more that I can do using this capability. Like I could probably move the mouth and all that kind of stuff. So let's see, what we're going to do here is try to play with the adjustments so we can get a better movement. So we're probably gonna have to move that lamp out of the way. Back it up. Hit the lamp. Actually got to go to object mode. Hit the lamp and move it out the way to some degree. And now we can try some motions here. Go back to pose mode. Click it. Move it into view. Let's see. Now it's working better. Okay, now we go to overlay. And now you see it's working better. So you can do different things, man. I'm telling you, it's possible what you can pull off. It's amazing stuff going on here with this Blender. Blender is a powerful tool. So I can take that and just edit that in and out, playing with my video editor, and get little small clips to play with that. And then to get his face to start moving, we'll go to object mode, pop out the overlay. Actually, I don't need to go to object mode. We go to let's just get back the eye controls. Actually, go to pose mode, bring the eye controls back to a good rested position right in front of him where it usually is, and we can control these, which give me the facial controls. See that? So that's pretty dope. So I can, you know, just make things happen. Now you have to use, look at that, you have to use the, what do they call it, graph editor, in order to build all the animations that you want. Or non-linear animation, you can use that as well. You can use the driver. The timeline will help you with just giving you your animation timeline. You can also try to build keyframes in, and the keyframes will give you different things, so you can get many different things to work. So that's the benefits of using this Rigify tool. Even if everything isn't working as intended, you could at least pull off some stuff that you never did before if you didn't have an advanced rig working. Let's see if the teeth work. And the teeth obviously are not working. Figured it wasn't going to work because it's not in its separate phase. Let's see if this works. That works. Let's see what this does. That works. Tries to open up the jaw, and it only pulls one part of the teeth. The other part of the teeth is messed up. So we can also rotate, use the rotate option, but it pulls the whole entire bottom base with it. It shouldn't pull everything at the bottom like that with it. It should only move the mouth and the jaw. That's the jawbone. So the jawbone shouldn't be connected to this bottom portion here. I don't know why it did that, why it's doing it, but it's all good. There's errors, like I said, in this thing. So you'll see rotations, rotation, see that? Moving the whole entire thing. So maybe I can fix it somehow. Oh, and look at how the mouth is open. I kind of like that part, how it's open like that. But I wish I can grab the teeth and get the teeth moving with it. But yeah, the layers are not really that great right now. So actually, this is an awesome Eevee render, by the way, because I wasn't able to get Eevee to render this good looking in the past. I don't know how I got it working now, but it was just like an error getting to this point, I guess. And look at the quality. The quality is pretty high. I like it. Now, animating the other parts of the body, like the legs and stuff, It's not really that hard once you get everything running. So let me take the overlays off. This will give you the IK functionality. You'll see better on the side. Here goes the IK functionality. Pretty cool stuff. These are the controls. You just got to click these controls. So if I wanted to create a walk cycle, I could, and get him to start walking. And then the arms have also controls. Really cool. And hold on, I clicked the wrong one. There you go. Really nice controls. And if you wanted to move the whole entire lower body to like use a knee sit down type of thing, it's like that. But you have to click on all of these to get them all moving together in unison. See that? Now he's doing exercise. But like I showed y'all folks before, let's back this out. The mouth portion has an issue. And that armature, not armature but armor. See that? So say I wanted to pose him as he's exercising, I can do that. Another thing that I can do, which is really dope, over here, you click this one ring, you have to use the Shift S, cursor to selected, and for some reason my cursor to selected isn't working properly. It should go to this actual object here, which it was doing in the past. For some reason it's not doing it anymore, and I don't know why. So let's go to active element, try that. Shift S. Oh, I did Control S by mistake. So that actually saved it. I didn't want to do that. So I lost my Rigify 3. It's all good. So we're going to do Control or Shift S, I should say. Cursor to select it, and it's still not working. Don't know what's going on, why that's not working the way it's supposed to work, but it's all good. I'll figure that out. It won't actually perform the way that I want it to perform because I need it to go to this point here. It has to sit in there. If you can get it seated in there, then you can rotate around these actual axes. So let me try to just get these activated. And what it does, it makes the hands rotate really well. So we're going to go rotate, and we're not pivoting, so we have to pivot on a really good axis. So we'll try to do it manually. Let's change over to the cursor. Why you want to do that is you want to indicate where you want the cursor to be. So I'm going to set the cursor right here in 3D space, if I can get it in there. And that's the issue that I will have, where I won't be able to set it exactly where I want it in 3D space. That's approximately where I want it. That's not the exact space that I want it in. So I want it to sit right into the object. And I didn't mean that. Use the pin node tree. I don't want to use that. I don't know what that is. So say that is it right there. Oh, that's close. Okay, come on. Very close in 3D space. So that's not it. It's very hard to do this because it's not allowing me to get the accurate position in 3D space. So you got to go through trial and error and keep trying so many times to move it in the right position. If you can do cursor to select it in the exact position that you want, then it will work really well. Well, that is good enough right there. So now what I'm going to try to do is rotate. Go to rotate and then rotate. Oh, the reason why that's not working, Control Z. Whoa, I lost my textures. Sometimes, like I said, you're going to lose your textures. Reason why it's not working, you have to go over here and then pivot around the 3D cursor. And fuck, I don't know why I lost my textures, yo. It does that. It gets crazy. Let's go back to object mode. Go to the body texture, and then I gotta go in and play around with this use nodes crap. Let's see, use nodes, and look, see, it says it's red. I don't know what the hell just happened to my texture, but they fail a lot for some reason, and still not showing how it was showing. I'm going to exit out, open, and then bring it in. It's a brand new texture, and again it's still jacked up. Why is it so dark? What happened? Did the lights get shut off? Like, what the hell happened there? Alright, so let's change this to 50. Now it looks jacked. Really looks jacked up. I don't understand what's going on. It's crazy, yo. That's some crazy crap. Looks like the Eevee renderer failed. It just died. Did that ever happen to you? I don't know. I don't know if it ever happened to you, but shit, so dumb. Alright. And you can't just go Control Z to back up the settings. It won't make a difference. It's still gonna look crappy. That was horrible, whatever happened. So my textures are working now, my light isn't working. I don't understand what the hell. And look, this is a node for an emission node as a light output. Let me break that maybe and reconnect it. Take that off. Choose the sun and go back. Let's swap back and forth over here from Eevee to cycles. Ah boy, I don't understand what the hell's going on. And change this to the sun. Fuck, man. It's looking horrible. Like, what the hell is going on? Is there something in front of it? Is there a problem? Like, what's wrong with this thing? Yo. And then it crashes. See this shit? So this is the kind of stuff you're gonna have to deal with Blender, man. Blender sometimes, the 2.8 version, it does have some issues, so it's not 100%, it's not in the full release. But as you can see, you can do a lot of stuff with it. The reason why I'm going hard, I'm going very long with my videos, so I just want to show y'all folks, you know, the full extent of what's possible in the future, what you can pull off. Obviously that was an epic fail, and hopefully we'll get some more stuff working. So now I'm back. I got the settings corrected. Luckily, I saved it at that point, and I didn't mean to save it at that point, but I did. So the lighting's still not as strong as it was. Let's go out of the pose mode, go to object mode, increase this lamp a little bit. We'll go to 20. Let's go to 30. Doesn't even look like the lamp is making any effect. What in the world is going on, man? This Eevee engine is so weird. It's just the weirdest thing in the world. Let me delete the lamp. Delete. There's no lamp in there. At all. There's zero lamp. And look. The damn thing is lit. So that's very weird. That doesn't make any damn sense. Alright, so let's go to cursor. Put in the cursor in there. Shift A. Grab a light. Put a point light. Now we're starting from scratch. Now we got some light. The Eevee renderer really does need a little work on it. So just keep in mind you're going to have some issues, man. Okay, what the fuck is going on? So here we go. Now we're back at that phase that we were at. I don't know exactly what I was in. Forgot what I was in. Oh, I was showing the hands. So yeah, the hands will work smooth, man. If I can get this damn thing working, it will work smooth. So we go to pose mode. We got that indicated. It's lit up in blue right there. Shift select cursor to selected. Actually, it's not lit up. Shift select cursor to selected, and it should not put it over there. It really doesn't make any damn sense. When I click these, it goes to the wrong one. Cursor to selected. This is not the one I'm selecting. I'm selecting the other one. Why is it going over there for? Shift select cursor to selected. Look, it's putting it back behind the location. Maybe I have to add that green one. Maybe that's why. The green layer. Let's go to object and let's add the green layers in. I have no idea what the hell's going on. Pose. Now let's try it again. Shift select cursor to selected. Nope. It is offsetting the cursor. How in the world is it doing this? I don't understand. It wasn't doing this before. So I'm getting screwed somehow. Blender is really screwing up. I can't pull off a lot of the stuff that I'm able to do. Let's go to cursor. That I want to do, I should say. Shit. Alright, that's a good position. Look at that. Bam! Spot on where I want to be. Alright, now that I got that, you should be able to see it now. So now let's try to highlight these rings. Not that one. Control Z. Ah, come on! I don't want to Control Z too much to lose the texture, because I want y'all folks to see what it's going to do. Alright, so we go over here, go to 3D cursor, and we're going to go to rotate, and not on that plane. So we got to use the rotate. We're going to rotate on this plane. What in the world is it doing? Why is it doing that? Something went wrong with the armature, man. This is weird. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. That's rotating on that axis. Hold on 1 second. What the hell? Oh boy. These are meant to actually rotate together. Why isn't it rotating right? These are knuckle controls or finger controls, basically. I had it working. Control Z. Shit. Can't get it working. Whatever, man. Whatever. I don't care. Let's try these. Okay. Control Z. Select. How about we just use these? I don't think these will work because I tried it and it didn't work. Control Z. Alright, let's see. Shift S, cursor to selected, and rotate. That doesn't do shit. Rotate. Yeah, it doesn't do shit. So it's really screwy, man, that I can't do what I can do. It's not doing what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to rotate. When you activate this, you're supposed to be able to rotate on the axis. Now it's not even moving at all. It's almost like it's not parented anymore. What the fuck? Nothing's working. Okay. Okay, now why it didn't rotate? Rotate, dummy. Wow. There's something seriously wrong with this. That's great. That's great. But what about rotate? Hello? It's not rotating. Wow. Alright, so all of that stuff was just epic fail after epic fail. I don't know why that isn't working. I'm going to kill this version and bring back another version or something. I'm going to do something else because this really ruined my demonstration. I was trying to show y'all folks that, and I'm really pissed that it's not showing what it really can do. So I can even go all the way from the beginning, start from brand new, and come up with a broken rig and still get the hands to work. I just don't understand why the hands is not working the way it's supposed to work. None of this stuff is working the way it's supposed to work. So that's a wrap. Hopefully y'all folks like this video, even though I had some epic fails towards the end. I'll try to come back even though I don't have this working and do something else to get the hands to work, the fingers to work. I don't know what's going on with this rig. Alright, I got it working, folks, and I don't know what the freak, why it wasn't working right, but I don't need the actual 3D cursor to do it. I'll show y'all folks real quick. I just got to click all of these circles to get them to be selected. And then I can, come on, why isn't it working? Hello? That's working. That's working. But it's moving a little bit too far. Shouldn't do all that. Control Z, back that up. Hold on. We'll just use select. Nope. Select actually isn't working good, but it's supposed to. How about rotate? Okay, rotate works good. Control Z. Just trying to pose fingers. So I was able to get all the fingers to rotate at the same time using that actual finger here. So damn, I don't think it's gonna work this time, because you gotta have, like I said, it has to be on that axis itself right there. So how could we move the 3D cursor in a position? Let's see. See if we have the 3D cursor. Here we go, right here. So we're gonna have to move the 3D cursor to this identical position of this object here. So to do that, we'll try to fix that part. Location. Let's move the 3D cursor. Okay. Now when we click this, select, when we click this, let's figure out where the location is for that. Here we go. So where the location is for this. Why isn't it giving me the location where that's at? When I click on the object, it should give me the information for the location of it. That's not a good thing, that I'm not getting the actual location. That one's giving me a location. Okay. So what about this one? It's not giving me anything. That's giving me a location. What about this one? Come on. That's giving me a location. Something wrong with that first one. All of this first finger is not giving me anything. Even the second finger. What the hell is going on here? Alright, let's just use that one, because something wrong. I don't understand. Control, Shift S, cursor to select it. See, that still doesn't work. So since that doesn't work, we're going to copy all of this. Shift C, or Control C. Then we're going to scroll down and Control V, enter. Go up here, Control C, go down here, Control V, enter. And then go here, Control C, and then scroll down and Control V, enter. Now let's see where the 3D cursor is at. The 3D cursor should be right here in this position. And no, it's not. How is that even possible? I put everything in the same location of this one. So where's the 3D cursor at? Nope, the 3D cursor instead is in the origin. How's it at the origin point? Okay, now I know a better way to do it. You just move this over here. So that's what we'll do. Fuck, man, it's so hard to get this thing to work. Okay, we're gonna do Shift S, cursor to selected, and then we're just going to move it along, let's see, G, Y, G, X, along the X axis. So right click, I'm going to go to the cursor and move the X axis. Whoa. Moving too fast. Okay. Set that to 0. See what that does. Set this to 79. See what that does. Boom. Now we're working something. Alright, so now let's try it. Let's see if this works. Rotate. Why is it rotating that way? Oh. There we go. See, now we got it. We have to rotate on that axis in order to make it work. So I don't know why it wasn't working before, but I think it's because the cursor doesn't want to go to selected. So now we got that rotation. See, so you can control the hands to make a fist, but you would have to fix the thumb. Oh boy, that was really ridiculously tough to do. Now, I think the position between this knuckle and this knuckle is not correct. So that's why it's not bending the thumb properly. So I have to fix that when I do another build. So let's try this one. Yeah, this is not rotating properly. Oh, it's because it's trying to rotate on this axis. So we're going to do Shift S, cursor to selected, and it's just going to try to rotate on that. On this axis. Let's try to get it to rotate active element and see what it does now. So there we go. That's a better rotation. Right? Okay. Control Z, Control Z. Okay. Now we have to select this one right here. I'm going to move the cursor somewhere over there. That's alright. Select, rotate. So we want to get this kind of rotation like that. And that is not really the best because I have to put that inside and then put these over them. So I'll do that over. If I can get it to start working right. But I can do one finger at a time too. I just wanted to show y'all folks that it's doable. So the reason why I can't do them all at the same time. What in the world? Without putting it in the right perspective is because, hold on 1 second. Let's put that in there a little bit better. And then we'll move it to some degree. Hold on 1 second. Rotate on this one. Something like that. Alright, now we'll bend all these. So, the reason why it's not going to work right exactly the way you want it all the time that cursor to selected has to be in the dead center of the actual object that you want it to rotate on. If you're going to rotate as a 3D, off of the 3D, what do they call that thing? Select this one. Hold on. Alright, it might work this time, actually. Oh, look, I got it working now. So, this one needs to be moved a little bit better, like so. There we go. So we almost making a full fist. This one needs to be rotated good too, like that. And I'll be doing some, not really tutorial videos, but I guess discussion videos on this part. Oh shoot, I'm missing one. Alright, Control Z. This one's not supposed to be activated. That's why. So it's this one, this one, this one, and this one. So we start from the back and then we can rotate them all. There we go. So now we got a fist. And to fix it a little bit more detailed, you gotta pull this back a little bit. And this one, hold on one second. A little bit. Hold on. No. That was bad. Control Z. That's the wrong one. Is it the wrong one? No, it's not the wrong one. It's the right one. There we go. So there goes a fist. And I could have used the X mirror to do it on both sides, but it's all good. I don't think I'm using the X mirror. See, you can use X mirror and you can get both sides to work simultaneously. I think that would work with pose mode. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on it. But let's see. Let's try this foot. Nope. That foot's not working right. Why is it not moving? Oh, because I'm trying to rotate. My bad. Control Z. Just gotta move. Yeah, so X mirror doesn't work. It only works for the editing, the editing phase, I should say. So now I can take this and move it and pose it like that and get it to rotate going this way, and then rotate it like a fist, and then move it, and then get it to swing. Still got to rotate it like so, like a fist, and then move it. Boom. See? Boom. So if you wanted to make a punch, you get a punch like that. Boom. 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 Cool stuff, right? But it's not really rotated right, because if you punch at that angle, it's really not going to work good. It's going to hurt. So you got to make everything more realistic and solid on. And the knuckles, you got to fix a little bit on the rotations. Now the bone issues that I have here, and where it actually bends on the knuckles, can be fixed when I'm trying to do the actual build and design of the meta rig. So the meta rig editing will make the difference with the knuckles, because this is spacing of the actual fingers. So the finger joints, if you space them properly in between the mesh, you can get that knuckle to look realistic. When you bend over here at the knuckle points, knuckle parts, when this bends, it will make a much more solid knuckle bend, you know. So with that, I have to do that kind of work, really get into high detail with it. So it's going to take me some time to figure out how to make that work with Rigify. But for now, this is the best that I can come up with. This is just a test run, and it is working pretty well. As you can see, I'm just strengthening this guy's fist, make his fist much more stronger with each bend of the finger, so we get the right knuckle bends and finger bends to make it more of a solid punch. There you go. Hopefully this is something that you like, folks. Get the angle right and movement. I don't know why it's not moving, but yeah. Okay, there it goes. Boom. Bam. Now to animate that in real time, you can take the overlays off. If this part was working real good, you can just show that he went from a certain point to punching. Punch somebody real quick in the head. I don't know. And you can also show from this side, he went bam from the top view, and change different camera angles on how you do it. So that's that part right there. Let me try to get this arm working to some degree. So we're gonna go to back in the overlays, and we'll work this one out and just move it around, position it how we see fit. And rotate that bad boy. And rotate him down. Twist him to the side. Pull him in. Not that way. Like that. And then hold on, move them. So his fingers, you can just rotate a little bit better. There we go. Just relax this finger. And I think that's not bad. Relax this part. Hold on. move this out a little bit. Rotate slightly, just to make it look more like he's just having his hands to the side waiting to do something. Let's see. Yeah, so there you go with that. Let's go with overlays. And his position of his hand is really bad, so move it a little bit back like that to the side. And we want to rotate it a little bit better. So we go to rotate, and we just let's rotate in the Z direction. I don't know why that's not working. You should be able to do R, Z. It's not working for some reason. Rotate in the Y. All that stuff's not working. So R, Z, nope. G, X, nope. Those different hotkeys are not working for some reason. So that's why I gotta keep using this one. So rotate about that much. Change the angle. And select. Why is the hand positioned like that? Looks like the bone is broke or something. Let's rotate this over here like so. There we go. And move the hand down like that. So he's too far towards the back of him. Okay. Now we can rotate a little bit better. Like so. And then move him okay, and rotate a little bit more like so. Now finger wise, actually let's try to rotate this part. No, we don't want to rotate that part. We'll try to rotate, let's see, from this part and then select on these and Control Z back up that one. Select this and then this one. There we go. And now we're going to rotate going this way. So it looks more normal. And select. And that's again not good. I think that's good right there. Boom. So now remove the overlays, and there he is. So he's standing there, and he can be knocking on the door, right? So we'll do overlays here, and in order to do a knock on the door, you would have to angle his hand back a little bit. So you would have to do like this, boom, 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 while you're moving it at the same time. Because you're not really like punching, it's more of a rotating the hand this way like that while you're moving the arm forward. So I can put a door over here and then have a knocking sound, and then have them talk to somebody and then open the door and walk through the door. That'd be pretty cool to do as an animation. Try to pull that off. See that? So I think I'm gonna try to do that. Pull that off in Blender, see if it works. Blender 2.8. I actually like this particular build. It worked really well for some reason. Whatever I did went better. So we're gonna go to File, Save As, and we're gonna go to I'm gonna call it Door Ready. Door Ready. And save it. So there you go, folks. Very, very simple stuff, but it's not hard to do. It takes time. That's the whole thing. Everything in this 3D stuff is time consuming, and it's not that hard to pull off some amazing stuff. Right now we're in the Eevee renderer. I could fix it. I showed y'all folks already a bunch of times, but I had the bloom defaulted, so just gotta go and change all my settings. That's using the nodes. The strength of the background. Let's see, viewport display. Actually, that's not using the nodes, I think. Either or, whatever. We're going to go into the Eevee render settings. So drop this shadow down to about 0 here, light threshold. And we got to bring that lighting down a little bit. It's too powerful. So to do that, hit the overlays, look for the lamp, wherever the lamp is. Click on the lamp. Actually, got to get out of pose mode, go to object mode, click on the lamp, and click the lamp area and drop this bad boy down. You can drop it down to 50. And now let's see what we got on the render. Let's drop it down to 30. And the quality is not too bad. Let's drop it down to 10. That's not too bad, but his texture really does look dull. So you may want to go with the point light. Even with the point light, his texture is kind of dull. So if you want to fix a lot of that stuff, showed in the other section. I don't know why it goes back to select box. It's so stupid. Shouldn't do that. Put the lamp near him. There we go. Let's see. Now we're getting a little better quality. Move the lamp around. Land on some side of him. And let's hide the bones, because bones are getting in my way. We'll take it out of the front and we'll just knock all the layers out. Period. There we go. So that's lit. Very well lit, but as you can see, the textures are very, very horrible. So I remember I changed the roughness, set it at 1. Also added metallic to it. Put a metal shading. I just gave it the dark color, and it's giving that kind of reflective, not really reflective, but shadowy effect. So there you go with that. Bring that down. Lighting makes a big difference, man. Wherever you put the light at, it's going to change your shadows, and that's going to change the contours of how it looks. That was an error. Okay. light overhead. Let's see, light overhead looks pretty decent. Overhead light. Another thing you can do is change the radius, which evenly disperses the shadows a little bit better. See the shadow effects. I want to get it where I can see his curvature look good. And that's that right there. High details. I don't know if I can get some high details on him, but we can play around with some of this stuff. I don't like that. Don't like that too much. Drop that out. Clear coat. No good. I don't know what that does. Never seen that actually working before. Now it's starting to work to some degree. So I guess you got to put this clear coat roughness on in order to get it to turn effect. What's the transmission? That's not too good. Dulls it out. Roughness. Try to put some roughness transmission in there. I don't know what that does. It's not doing anything really. If you bring down the roughness, it's not doing much. What I need now is darkness actually. So let's go to the background and reduce the strength. And bam. Now we're getting somewhere. So the darkness helps to bring out that texture. As you can see, the texture is coming out really good. And the shadow makes the curvatures come out. That's pretty cool. This is the best Eevee render that I actually got to pull off. I'm probably going to end the video at this point and use this as my thumbnail for my video because it was the best output that I could come up with so far. So that's pretty dope. If I could use him in a film, it would be dope. Maybe he could become Dracula or something like that. He looks like one of those type of characters. But his name is the Folk. Actually, let's go and fix some of that over here on his ear. So actually we'll go back over here to his texture and see if we can do some of this clear coat stuff that I did. Oh, look at that. That gives a glow and gloss on the hair. I think I was using this anthropic stuff. No, that's not going to do anything. Let's go to the render area and then go to, let's do screen, space reflections. How about volumetric? Nope, that doesn't do anything. Subsurface scattering, let's try that. Subsurface scattering, they said, is good for skin textures, so you can play with that. I want to get into the shadows actually, so the shadow effects will change that right there. So there you go, I got rid of that, and I'm using soft shadows. Let's go to high bit depth, and now that bad boy looks really good. Now you can put in some HDRI lights and backgrounds and all that stuff. Let's see if I could put in a scene, but it's not going to look that great because I don't have the super duper top notch best HDRIs, but I got HDRIs. They're free to utilize. I also want to try like some kind of a high level, high scale background of my own that I can create. Maybe like a city and stuff like that. Put that in the background and, you know, deck it out and make it really look good. I personally love this Eevee render. This is a really dope Eevee render right here. So there you go. Hopefully you like what I came up with. and it's still animatable and all that stuff. And this is a wrap, most definitely a wrap. Let's take the overlays off. Let's just change the background one more time, make it dark. Look at that. That is pretty dope. Wow. Ultra high quality. It kind of looks like a game. So that's why Eevee is a game engine renderer. More of a Eevee is more of a game engine renderer than anything. See what backface culling does. It doesn't do anything. And this is how it looks when it's in the look dev development phase. So yeah, let's play around real quick. One more thing before I leave. Sorry about that, folks. Let's go to cycles and see what cycles did. Look at that. I jumped into cycles and didn't do anything. Oh, because I'm in the look dev, my bad. So go to the shader, and for some reason in cycles it's like really broken somehow. You can see that it has these triangles, which basically is what helped to create it. But why is it set up that way? I don't know. It shouldn't look that way. Instead, it should be smoothed down a great deal. So let's go to shade smooth. Even shade smooth doesn't affect it. I remember earlier I showed that, but I don't understand why it's having that issue. But it should look really good here. The fact that it's not looking good, the lamp probably, but I can put another lamp in it. Shift A. Actually, I gotta go use the cursor, 3D cursor, put the 3D cursor there, Shift A, put the point light there, and then move the point light with the select option, and I can do something like that. See, so you can do all kinds of different things depending on your lighting and your background and everything that you have set. You can do some amazing stuff. But the problem with this guy right here now is, like I said, it's not smoothed down. There's something wrong with the pixels. I don't know what's going on here. But hey, let's go to flat. That's how it looks flat. And this is how it looks smoothed down. But it should actually be more smooth. Cycles is failing somehow. Let's go to workbench. See how smooth that looks? Matte cap. Very smooth. Flat. You can even go to glossy. You can go to different textures. And you see there's no imperfections much, right? But when you go to to cycles, that shit is busted. Screwed up. So I don't know why. But maybe I'll figure it out. Maybe it's freestyle. Nope, it's not freestyle. Take the hair off. I don't know. Something in it is not set up the way it should be. And it's just causing it to have this kind of error. Because that's not how it really looks. So yeah, that's all we got. And I'm out of here. I'll see y'all folks next time. Joe, love and peace to all. Mike Pugh signing off. And the thing, look at this. I jump back to Eevee and I lose the texture for some reason. So I got to pop out the node and pop in the node to get it back. And that additional light definitely threw it off. So hold on. Let me get that lamp and move it out of the way. Maybe somewhere like that. That way, let's move it down here. So the more lights actually you have, the better sometimes. So you got to get different lights to light up every area how you see fit. Now he looks glossy. Glossy. Let's move him back here. Okay. And back there. That's looking pretty good. So you got to just play with your lights until you get the different visual effects that you're looking for. See that? So there you go. That's light behind him in the back. So if you go to the back of him and you showcase the back of him, that's basically how it's going to look. If you want to get a render view, the actual render itself, let's do 0 on the 0 key. Hold on. Let me click on the camera real quick and then 0 it in, and I should be able to move it. There we go. So this is what will render out. If I want to output a render, so we go rendering, hit F12, and it will go in like that. Bam. So you can use this if you want. You go to image, go to save as, and then you can save it to your computer if you wanted, and post it on Instagram like that if you want. But that's not actually a good render that I would use. I would actually take the camera, rotate it that way, like so, and then move the camera back here and capture him like that. Angle shots sometimes render out better looking instead of just frontal shots. So F12, and now that's a better shot. I like that. I have to play with the lighting at this particular angle to get much better quality. So you have to keep playing around and adjusting and doing all kinds of stuff like that. Like with the background, the world background. Definitely have to make all those type of adjustments. So let's see, F12. See that? And then go with a brighter, see what it does. F12. See, so the lighting is going to play into it. And now it looks like a cartoony kind of look. Instead of a gamey. So, right there. I know I'm going a little bit more extra, but just wanted to show y'all folks some of the differences with the renderer, Eevee Render. You can play with a lot of stuff, man. You can have fun playing around with this stuff. So using the cameras, you just use the 0 key to test it on your number pad. Jumps back in and out, or you can use this key here. Does the same thing. Not key, but this option here. Pretty cool stuff, man. So other than that, I'm out of here. I'll see y'all folks next time. Joe love and peace to all. Mike Peace signing off. Feel free to smash that bell icon if y'all folks felt that this was really beneficial to you in some way. This is Eevee rendering plus at the tail end of showing some basics to animation using the Rigify rig. Rigify, you can most definitely pull it off using Blender 2.80. It depends on the mesh that you have. If your mesh is too complicated, 9 times out of 10 you're going to have a lot of epic fails in between, which will waste a lot of your time. But if you want to learn, it doesn't matter what kind of mesh you have. You can learn from it and see a lot of the different errors that you're probably going to have. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to do a brand new Rigify rig. I'm also going to do time-lapse type of rigging with the Rigify. I'm going to play with it. I'm going to try animals. I'm going to try all kinds of different things. And that's the only way I'm really going to become really great at using the Rigify tool, and eventually, hopefully, good at animation, because I'm not that great at animation at all. I only know up to this point a lot of the things that y'all folks saw. So that's why I wasn't able to really demonstrate more and more stuff, because I haven't really got a character moving myself besides using Mixamo Fuse, meaning getting it to do a walk cycle and getting it to run around the whole entire room and do all kinds of different stuff. Those things take a lot of time. You really got to plot out the keyframes and make every individual movement to work the way you want it. It's much better to get a motion capture software if you want to do that kind of stuff. And that's what I got to invest in the future. Get a Connect, see if the Connect works, because I have some tools that should work with the Connect, and also some other advanced you know, motion capture software whenever I can afford that kind of tooling. And once I get past my bills, that's when I'm really going to start investing into stuff, because I've been paying bills like nonstop, and my earnings is very low right now because I'm not earning that much. I do Uber Eats, and it's not really paying off too well for me in my region. So I'm probably at the switch region, switch gigs, jump on to multiple different apps that are enabling me to earn, and also have other gigs that I'm doing in order to earn. So I just wanted to tell that last tail end. That's why I'm not able to upgrade in a lot of ways, and because of the bills. So other than that, I'm out of here, and I'll see y'all folks next time. Feel free to also, like I said, hit the thumb up and comment, drop some comments if you have any questions and stuff like that. I'm learning, I'm a student, and that's why I do long length videos on Blender, to explain and express all of what I see, what I can do and what I can't do. You can see my limitations as you see my videos, but it will help you also to see your limitations, and or to go past some of the limitations that you may have had at one point in time. And that's why I do them. So that's all I got, and I'm out of here, and I'll see you next time. That's it. Now the face rig should be done for that part. Now all I got to do is do the ears.